Hello again, everyone. We got another resin model. Probably a bad idea, but then again, maybe better than Diecast. We'll have to see. I'm gonna have to put in the title who made this because I don't see anything on this so far. Oh boy, I got this from AliExpress. I'm gonna assume there should have been a sticker here, but I don't know. But it does say Carrera GT here. Maybe the brand sticker? It has a nice embossed set of silver letters stamped in there, or debossed, I guess that would be called. Paper box, pretty rigid, so I guess your clear case won't get cracked. Nothing on the inside. That's fine. What's up with this? I don't know if this is supposed to just be open on this side. It's taped on this side. So this makes me think it might be a used model again. But we'll see. We'll see. Let's tape over here. And then we got just kind of something to tape to the bottom of this thing. We have two different screws. So that doesn't seem normal either, right? Oh, this is the roof. I see. So I guess I should probably keep that. Alright, so the roof, well, I gotta say, the roof is actually nicely detailed. It's got like a quilted upholstery, and also the latches that lock it into place. Now the top surface, it's like a matte finish. That's actually really nice. We'll see how it ends up on the model. There's no tape holding this together. It's quite loose, that cover. I reviewed the Kyosho of this thing before, but just a quick refresher. 1,270 of these cars were made in the real world. Jason Hill was the concept designer, but Harm Lagay was the production designer. It has a rear mid-mounted 5.7 liter V10 engine, V10 being a little bit strange for a Porsche, and as a 6-speed manual. The power is over 600 horsepower or PS, and it's rear-wheel drive only. Okay, so those are the photo comparisons. You can decide for yourself. I was reading, so I don't even know if it looks like those photographs, but we're going to continue on. Alright, well, we got the nameplate here. Maybe that says who made this. Maybe not. Or does it? Well, let me zoom in. The text is so small. It's nice that we know what it is. We also now know it's a 600 PS, and it was from 2003 to 06. So this is actually a lot of great information. I don't know why more nameplates don't have that kind of information. I mean, there's room to do it. Anyways, that must be the brand logo, and it looks like there's 200 of this silver color. Boy, I'm zoomed in 4 times. Can you make out that text? I cannot. I don't know. I'll have to look up the order that I got this from and see if it has a brand or not. Maybe it doesn't even have a brand. It's one of these fly-by-night operations. What is that? It's just some dust. Okay. It's got like a fake plastic, I guess felt. You would call that a felt surface, which is nice today. But I'm afraid being plastic, it might crack or flake off in the future. And being felt, all that felt stuff is going to get inside the model. It won't hurt it, but it'll just look ugly. And then this has a nice and big Carrera GT photo etch piece there. So that's interesting that they would bother to make that twice, like 2 different badges. I suppose it's because you're probably most likely going to display it sideways. You know, instead of that way, right? So I guess it makes sense. Okay, let's start on this side in the front wheel here. Let me zoom into 4 times. Okay, well, we got a Porsche logo there, like looks possibly like a foil sticker. It's quite shiny. It's centered all right. It's just not, you know, vertical. Then we have the brake system, which is looking pretty good. The cross drilling looks pretty sharp, and then we have a 3-dimensional brake caliper that's painted yellow. Looks very realistic. What's not realistic is now I'm noticing there are no center knockoffs. This is like a race car. It's supposed to have a big alloy knockoff, red on this side of the car, blue on the other. But clearly this just has a flat recess with a logo in it. So this is a case of someone not paying attention as to what a Carrera GT actually looks like. So I don't know why, because you could have easily molded that detail in there, and it wouldn't make any difference to the cost of this model. It just wouldn't have the decal, which might actually save them money, right? Instead of having to pay someone to put that decal on, it would just have to be painted. At this magnification, we have truck tires going on this supercar, so that doesn't seem so great. It is a little bit gappy. Maybe it could be a little bit lower in its stance. We have a nice shiny amber reflector or turn signal, which also doesn't look like those photographs. And the photograph is more angular, like an angled trapezoid, not a trapezoid, a parallelogram. Maybe in certain countries it had a marker that shape, but not in the photographs I pulled up, so I'm not sure. I can't say if that's accurate or not, but it's definitely not accurate to the photos I pulled up. Then we have this side detail. What I'm wondering is if there's text in there or not. I cannot tell. I think it's just an etched away recess, like a rectangle, and then there's a photo etched piece of metal. The silver paint, I guess it's okay. The issue I'm having is seeing this scratch in the resin before it was painted. Some sort of circular blemish in the resin as well. So it's not very, it doesn't look right. It also looks like it's been sanded away with a high grit sandpaper here. So ultimately the paint is just reflecting the poor surface of the resin casting. What is nice is this looks like a metal piece of grating, so it's not paint. You can really see the edge of it, it looks like, so it's a separate piece. We can also see this is a real mirror. It's going to reflect the pic, and it does. What's not so great is it's sticking out. You know, it's not recessed like a real mirror. It's just a flat mirror with a sticker on it. So even cheap diecast cars have better mirrors. Alright, what do we have here? Oh, well, that's nice. It's actually recessed. I thought it was just like black paint or something. I don't know if the real car has a door handle that deep, but it's kind of cool. And then we have a recessed door lock there. Yeah, the panel gaps they seem a little bit big actually. You shouldn't be able to put a whole toothpick into this. This is more like a good Hot Wheels or a decent diecast as far as the panel gaps go. So back here, at least the surface of this looks nicer. And then back in the main vent, we have a nice insert as well. Good color separation there. You can see now the clear coat is quite nice. It is reflecting that chrome piece right here, right? If that was a wavy orange peeled surface, it wouldn't look so sharp, but that's a really good clear coat there on the side. Yeah, rear wheel. Now the logo's upside down, but the real problem is it doesn't have a knockoff. The orientation of the brake rotor is correct according to the photographs. This one could be angled down more, but at least it's not vertical. They're angled down, I guess, probably for a lower center of gravity. Again, this is a little bit gappy. It's not as low as it should be. Possibly also, I think the tires might be too small. That could be the issue as well. Yeah, you know, I don't think this car has such a big gap between the tire and this side of the opening. So it's a poorly designed wheel / tire. We're going to go around to the back, I guess. I will say this is a nice taillight. You know, the translucency of the red. And then it looks like it has a whole bunch of LEDs back there. See? It's not just like 2 big light bulbs or something. It's like a whole bunch of LEDs. So whatever's molded behind there is really well done. Sorry, the camera's wobbling. It's on a suspension mount. The Carrera GT text is very nice. I don't know how they do this. You know, the text is so thin. There's clearly some clear stuff joining them together. But I don't think it's a decal. It's sticking up too much. It's too thick to be a decal. So it's like some sort of foil lettering with a clear backing. It's quite nice. I'm not sure, other than a tampo print, I don't know how else you could do that better. A tampo print would never be chrome though, you know. These are like chrome letters. See, it looks black and then it looks silver, so very shiny. And then it's nice to have some text in the license plate. That's good. The exhaust there around, and they got that I don't know, fin pattern around the outside. We have some sort of silver within red. Over here, same thing. Probably a reflector and backup lights or something. We'll say though, on the rear photo, this is all red. Only this side has the white. But again, maybe in different countries, they have different laws, and perhaps a certain country could have had them on both sides. I think it actually makes more sense if it was on both sides. It's more symmetric. The carbon fiber detail here looks pretty good from this angle, right? It's going all up in here, and I gotta say, it's pretty smooth. I think possibly the carbon fiber is clear coated, so it feels very smooth. It's hard to tell. Okay, if you haven't watched my channel, I do these videos with the Galaxy A7, so it's a pretty small phone screen, so you guys are gonna see more details than I will right now. You know, this might be a 3D printed body. You see these striations? It gives me the indication that this body is 3D printed. I didn't really pick up on it over here. So maybe there's not enough primer, or maybe they're supposed to sand this before they paint it, but I almost feel like those are step lines of a resin printer. I could be wrong. Maybe it's just some weird sort of paint effect, but... Alright, the blended wing seems okay, and it turns out there's a third brake light of resin there, so that's good. Under it, we got this nice grill, and that's a separate piece of metal. I don't think there's air passing, though, under it. It just looks like this silver behind that metal. But that's fine. Let's continue to this side. Yeah, alright. Generally, the brakes... This is a more correct angle of the brake caliper, I think, compared to that side photo. And all this looks okay. This door looks better than the other side. Okay, that all looks fine, I guess. Going to the front. So we have that little dimple, probably for like a tow hook or something. And boy, let me get a different angle here. I gotta get some light into those grills. I gotta back off here. Hold it this way. Let's focus. Alright. So we definitely have a grill texture way back in there. Looks pretty good. Sorry for my fingers. They are nasty. And then a little bit of carbon fiber. Look at that. That's really neat. It's like on the bottom edges and also these little slanted verticals. So I can't even tell on the real car. I'm sure it's there on the real car. But that's a detail that I think they could have easily skipped and you wouldn't even know. So that's nice. I don't know those side ducts, if there's a grill or not, but I'm guessing they go pretty far in. Hold on here. I'd focus again. Let's see how far the toothpick goes in there. Pretty decent amount. Well, I guess I could get the flashlight out. Let's see if there's pieces of metal in there. Oh yeah, look at that. Yeah, so there's 3 pieces of metal in these openings. Very impressive. And now you can see that carbon graphic a little bit better. Very cool. Alright, that's good. I guess that's it for the sides. Now let's go to these headlights here. Can't zoom in any further. I'm gonna move the camera down so I can see what I'm looking at. Alright, so the clear light buckets are really smooth, very impressive. And then we have the little bumps for the fluid ejectors. And then behind those lenses, you can clearly see there's 2 projectors. From the top, I don't know if they're domed or not. Wow, it's so shiny, my camera's freaking out. Hold on. Let's see if we can look at this one. Well, you can definitely tell it's in a silver ring, that projector. I just don't see the dome bulging past it. But that might be accurate. So anyways, it's either a piece of clear plastic or maybe a drop of resin within a silver bezel. And then they're covered up by that clear cover, but you can also see there's like a stripe of silver there. Maybe those are like LED running lights or something. The Porsche crest here looks pretty good. It's got the those funky shapes. I don't know what those shapes mean on a Porsche crest. Maybe one of you Porsche files could educate us all on what the crest means, what those objects are. They look like, I don't know, leaves of a tree or something. Yeah, this is the silver is much nicer up top here. It's pretty even, not bad. Okay, boy, but it's really throwing off the camera. That wiper blade, you can see there's some recesses in it, so it must be photo etched. Now I lost it. But I don't think the blade is bent perpendicular. Yeah, I don't know, it looks like a very flat blade. I don't know if the wiper blade's supposed to be that wide, but it's just literally laying flat on the windscreen, so that's something not realistic about that. Some other brands will actually bend the blade perpendicular to the windscreen. Oh boy, I hope that's a piece of dust, but I think it's a blemish in the paint. Yeah, that's too bad. Okay, well, the black out of the window seems to be on the backside surface. This is so smooth, it's crazy. And then obviously with no roof, it's nice and easy to see in here. So you can see this, it is a orangey brown to the naked eye. It might look just straight up orange from what you're seeing. My camera tends to change the hue a little bit. On the top of the windscreen, there is the rubber seal for the roof to rest on, this ledge, and it also comes down here, so that's good. See our rear view mirror. Yes, there is a rear view mirror, but it's just a piece of metal. It's very thin. It's not three-dimensional like a real one would be. Some other brands would have a molded mirror. Alright, the top of the dash has some vents there. No black paint though in the recesses. And then it's interesting, the dash goes way up here. Some sort of controls way up there. I wonder what those controls would be for. Okay, so then it comes down, and then I get the shifter is pretty high up. It's interesting. It reminds me of a rally car, how the shifter is close to the steering wheel. It makes sense that it's up there, so you can, steer and shift quickly and go back to steering. I've just never paid attention to that before. I guess I've never looked at images or the inside of this car. So then we have some 3 silver painted knobs of some sort, a couple other buttons molded in, but none of the other buttons are colored. A lot of other brands would paint every one of those buttons, and I do feel like they would be a different color, whether they're metal or black switches. I feel like that was lost. The dashboard here, I don't know if these things are supposed to be vent strakes, but if they are, these are the horrible vent strakes, but I don't know for sure. I probably should have brought up an interior photograph, maybe later. The door panel looks pretty good. I got the silver, the black, some sort of detail there, some sort of ridging. Well, really, I'm not sure where you're supposed to rest your arm. I feel like this armrest should come in more, right? There's almost no ledge there, or that should be recessed more. So that's a little bit not realistic to me. And then the seats, it's kind of cool that there's a little hole slot there for the seatbelt to come through. That's nice. There's no actual seat belts, of course, which is not so great. And then the buckle itself is not painted black or red or both. So, possibly might be a little bit small as well. The seat backs have silver, which is a nice effort, and they also have the Porsche crest. That's a nice effort. The slots are there for the belt to come through, but again, no belt. And other brands, even some Diecast cars, will have seat belts. So that's another bit of laziness by whoever made this thing. Are there gas brake pedals? Let's get the flashlight. I think maybe there are. Yeah. I think they're probably just molded into the floor, which is fine. I don't think it's a super critical thing, because without a flashlight, you're never going to see those things. It's better they put the money somewhere else where you can see. Well, so here we have the fuel filler door. Okay. And then the rear window has the, yeah, that is a surface to keep wind out of the cabin. It's got some thickness as well. And then these are recessed. So is this considered a fourth brake light, right? This is the third brake light, isn't it? So there's a fourth brake light up there. And then I think the highlight of this car model is this. These molded or stamped stainless steel photo etched grates. You know, those holes are literally passing air, and yet they're curved, right? So they're not flat sheets of metal. And then if you look carefully, you can see the engine back there. That silver cam cover, or no, it's probably the induction. Looks like there's a tube coming in. So probably air filters, and then somewhere down there is the cam covers maybe. Can't see much of those, but you can definitely see there's some horizontal straking on those air filter covers. Let's see if we try from this view. Nah, it kind of vanishes. Yeah, alright, well anyways, that's cool that you can see something underneath those. These little aqueducts there, there's no paint or anything, but they're so shallow, I'm willing to forgive that. I do like that there's air passing underneath the wing. That's kind of nice. I didn't even notice it from the rear view, but it does have the vertical strakes. I wonder if this thing will pop up. No. It does look like a separate piece, but I don't think it's meant to be raised. But possible, but I'm not going to pick away at it. I don't want to break it, because the paint might be stuck and it might take a chip of paint away with it. Alright, well, just looking it over some more. I probably forgot something. Those knobby tires and the stance and the size of the tires and the wheels. Yeah, it seems like that's the big flaw of this particular thing. Everything else to me looks pretty fantastic. Guess we should try it with the roof on. Let's just see how well this fits, although I'm not sure why you would really want to buy a model and display it with the roof on, because you're gonna just have a hard time seeing the inside. But no, this isn't the goodest. The fit back here is very nice, but the front doesn't want to rest on that ledge. See, it's clearly, there's no gap here. I can't. So basically this is a poorly designed roof. It's just not good at all. I don't know if it's shrunk or something, you know, it just, or this windscreen was pushed down by accident or something like that. You know, I feel if the windscreen was a little more vertical, maybe it would fit in there. But, no, give it a chance. I guess you just have to put it in with this edge first. There's a tiny, like, groove or something going on there. Again, I'm looking through a phone screen, I can't tell. But if you put the front edge in first, there. Okay, so I take all that back. I'm just, if you watch my channel, you guys know I'm a moron, right? If you're new to the channel, now you know. Okay. So, alright, well, I mean, I guess you can still see some of the interior, but for me, I'm liking that a lot more. I'm just gonna, like, I don't want to use sticky tack because it's gonna mess up the felt. I will have to put sticky tack on the bottom, or I'm just gonna tape this over one of the screws because it'll scratch up the surface of any box I put under it. So here we have the interior of it. I'm also noticing there's a little bit of a Porsche crest in the middle of that steering wheel. It might just be painted black. Right? But if you look at this interior, the whole center is silver. Right? Only the shifter leather and the knob itself are a different color. So I kind of feel like they may have gotten that wrong. They could have probably just painted that whole recess silver, which wouldn't have been too hard to do, I don't think. Oh well, so that's a little bit off. Looking at the door panel, yeah, you know, you can rest your arm, obviously, on an armrest on a real car. It's interesting the e-brake is over there. This does not have... Oh, does it? It does. Look at that detail. That's something they didn't miss. Hold on. It's black, so... See? The e-brake. So that's cool. And then they have like a little storage cubby for the passenger. So I guess that is kind of neat. Oh, with their instrument gauges. I am losing my touch. I'm thrown off by other things. So, yes, there are instrument gauges. Yeah, we have the round dials there. Technically, there should be 5 dials. You know what? I think they are molded. It's just that you can't see them because only the middle 3. But I do think there's some edge dials. They're just not painted black. Well, they got some of it. Better than none of it. You gotta be really picky with the resin models because some resin models are just outstanding. Unfortunately, this is not one of them. This is a nice model as compared to the diecast that I'm going to show right now. So here's a Kyosho, and so yeah, it's just the regular Carrera GT. Tire treads, I guess. Yeah, so the knobbies obviously are horrible, but let's see from the back. Yeah, they're there. Okay. But you see, Kyosho apparently looked at photographs of a regular car and realized they don't have knobby truck tires on the side. Those look like street tires. Kyosho also has a center lock nut. So this Kyosho probably cost $6, I bet, when it was new. Maybe 10 at the most. So they got it better. I added my own license plate, by the way. And then Kyosho chose to do the backup and the reflector. Alright, so still, Kyosho's pretty good. It's like a pearly white. But the roof is a little bit different because light is getting through that transparency. Alright, let's see. Let's let that spin. And Windows 11, I hate you. Because this silly taskbar never goes away. Windows 11. Here's a black version. As to why I have 2, I don't know. But I do. Now this is a rarity for Kyosho. It has a painted interior. I didn't do that myself. Yeah, it's riveted together, so I think it's... Oh, my bad, that's why. It's an auto art, so that is why I have 2. Auto art is slicks, but that's fine. From the side it doesn't look like a truck tire. And you see how the tires are filling out the wheel well more? And the stance is better? Same with the Kyosho. The Kyosho wheels, I think Auto Art has the best as far as the size of the tire and the stance. But Kyosho is better than this resin model, it looks like. But these both have molded in mirrors. They have a pretty nice detail though for the grills. And this one also you can see the boxes underneath the grill. I don't know, I think this is plastic with some sort of printing on top of it. Whereas that's literally a metal grill with air passing through it. And then Kyosho just has plastic with a much cruder printing on it. But again, you can see the engine down there, and actually more of it. So that's interesting. So those are the competition diecast wise. If you don't love this car, there's actually pluses to having the diecast versions. The predecessor to this Carrera GT was the 911 GT1, and this is by Kyosho. Okay, so this is pretty much a race car for the road. I don't know if it's supposed to be that gappy though, but at least they got the center knockoffs correct. And then the successor is the 918, but this is the concept car from Kyosho, because it has these side pipes. But you can see this plastic wing, the yellowing of the paint compared to the paint on the diecast. I have a suspicion maybe the white paint on the diecast is powder coating, and then this might just be spray painted. Maybe that's why it's yellowed so much. Anyways, if you're shopping around for a used Kyosho, make sure you look at that wing, because that looks pretty bad. The color of it, at least. And then here's the regular road-going version, although it's got a martini livery. And this is by Shuko. So Shuko, again, not good. The tire is too small for the wheel well, and the stance is it's off. It's too gappy. It looks like a rally Porsche. The rear's not as bad. I don't really have a problem with the rear. The axle seems to be bent, though. Alright, And there's a certain crudeness in parts of this that I'm not a fan of. I think I prefer the Kyosho over this thing. Let those spin around for you, and actually let me get you a higher angle. Okay. And now let's end off with the low angle. Just clear these out of here. So for me today, I'm happy that if it is a used model, it's still a nice model. It still looks new to me. There's no weird scratches or anything like that on there. I guess the criticisms are just poor design choices. You know, the wheels just aren't right. The wheels and tires are too small. The stance is a little bit off. You know, for a diecast it's fine, but for the price of a resin, I really expect them to be perfect, right? So that's me. If you're new to collecting, it seems like, you know, no amount of money is going to get you a perfect model in this hobby. But I still prefer the resins because I have a suspicion the resins will outlast the diecast, just based on model railroading, which dates back over half a century, and those are all plastic bodies, so it all depends on the quality of the resin though. And it wouldn't surprise me if these fly-by-night operations are using the cheapest plastic they can find, and maybe in 5 years this will become a brittle mess that'll just disintegrate into, you know, powder. But if I'm lucky, it'll all stay together and outlast any sort of diecast, which they have zinc rot and paint rash, so. Okay, well anyways, whatever brand this is, which I'll put in the title of the video of course, I guess it's middle of the road. Pleasantly, there's no major quality control problems, a few scratches in the casting it seems, but everything else is well executed, well put together. It's just questionable about the shaping of certain things like the reflectors and, you know, obviously the wheels and tires again. So I'm going to leave it at that today. Thank you for watching, and I still have a few more resin models to review and even a few more diecasts. So we'll see you in those videos. See you then. Bye.